To use the safety features of the RCX3-SMU, the parameters must be set correctly. This video explains the SMU parameters that deal with safety input, safety output, input filter and deceleration monitoring. The safety input parameters are used for assigning safety functions to the general-purpose safety inputs 1 through 4. Safety input GP1 sets which safety functions are assigned to the external safety devices wired to pins A7 and A8 of the safety I/O connector. Similarly, safety input GP2 sets the safety functions to be assigned to external safety devices wired to pins A9 and A10. Safety input GP3 to pins A11 and A12, and safety input GP4 to pins A13 and A14. These are the functions that can be assigned with the settings. With the None setting, no safety functions are set. When manual mode protective stop is selected, SS1R/T will be executed and the robot switches to safety mode if the contact is open during manual mode. When automatic mode protective stop is selected, SS1R/T will be executed and the robot switches to safety mode if the contact is open during automatic mode. When automatic mode speed monitor is selected, speed monitoring is enabled if the contact is open during automatic mode. When area monitoring 1 is selected, area monitoring for area 1 is enabled if the contact is opened. When area monitoring 2 is selected, area monitoring for area 2 is enabled if the contact is opened. The safety output parameters are used for assigning safety functions to the general-purpose safety outputs 1 and 2. Safety output GP1 sets which safety functions are assigned to the external safety devices wired to pins A15 and A16 of the safety I/O connector. Similarly, safety output GP2 sets the safety functions to be assigned to all external safety devices wired to pins A17 and A18. These are the functions that can be assigned with the settings. When None is selected, the safety output status is not set. When emergency stop mode is selected, the contact is opened upon emergency stop. When operable status is selected, the contact is closed when returning to an operable state. When safety mode is selected, the contact is open when entering a safe state. When automatic mode is selected, the contact is closed when entering automatic mode. The input filter parameters configure the input filter used for diagnostic pulses from external devices and for removing noise. The input filter has parameters that set which noise is to be removed as well as the value, W, ms, that exceeds the maximum pulse width of the test pulse. The safety input from the external safety device must be the same value for at least 2 W, ms, continuously. This parameter affects the response time of the safety function. The parameters in this table are related to the input filter. Since the upper limit of pulse width that can be removed by the input filter is 10 milliseconds, the following external devices cannot be used. Devices for which a test pulse width of 10 milliseconds or less cannot be set. Devices for which the test pulse interval cannot be set greater than 2 W plus 1 millisecond. The deceleration monitoring parameters configure the monitoring deceleration related to the SS1R/T monitoring conditions. The parameters related to deceleration monitoring are shown on this table. SS1 stop velocity sets the SS1 stop speed. SS1 decel ratio sets the SS1 deceleration ratio. SS1 margin velocity sets the SS1 margin speed. SS1 timeout sets the SS1 timeout time. The motor speed when the safety function is activated plus a margin, SS1 margin velocity, is defined as the monitoring start speed, and the upper speed limit, deceleration monitoring speed, is calculated at a constant deceleration rate from the start speed. Monitoring continues if the current motor speed is below the deceleration monitoring speed for the elapsed time. When all motor speeds drop to the stop speed or less, monitoring stops and the unit enters STO mode. If the current motor speed exceeds the deceleration monitoring speed for the elapsed time, the SS1 deceleration overspeed alarm is issued, and the unit enters STO mode. If the elapsed time exceeds the timeout time, the SS1 timeout alarm is issued and the unit switches to STO mode. You can use a dedicated wizard to configure the deceleration monitoring parameters. Open the SMU parameters and click SS1R/T to start the SS1R/T parameter setting wizard. Follow the message, confirm that the maximum payload during the operation is set to the robot parameter tip weight, and click Next. The recommended parameter values are automatically calculated. Click Next. Click Finish to finish the wizard. The calculated values are set for the SS1R/T parameters of the SMU parameters. That is all for explanation of the parameters that deal with safety input, safety output, input filters and deceleration monitoring.